City of Sioux City has been planning their trail system to get north to the city limits in order to be able to connect to this PlyWood piece when it's ready. That's about as far as I can answer for them, though.
So is Sioux City the contracting authority to the south edge of Hinton?
I don't know that it's been determined yet. I believe that's the game plan, is to have Sioux City be the contracting authority for that piece.
Yeah, I don't believe
Can
they
you
are.
help me out? What, Jason?
I don't believe they are.
There's
yet.
Yeah, there is no active project for that portion. It's all just in
There's
the
no
planning
agreement,
stage.
I don't think.
Okay, what is the north edge, the south edge of Hinton?
What's that road there?
Exactly, Jet?
Isn't that, what is that road?
Herbert?
That you can take the back way to Jacob's house.
C-80.
C-80. I think
No, I'm talking the south edge of Hinton. Oh, Hinton dribbles down 75 there and gets past the, what was that?
Brand,
Huh?
get that brand.
No, it gets past that development that's there. And then speed limit goes back up about 65.
Oh, nice, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where there's.
Orbit Drive. Right at the south edge.
Okay. I was just curious if Sioux City had started that, like Kenny was asking. That's a good question.
No, there's no full design for a project from the Sioux City end of things right now.
Okay.
Well, at least make a note to the committee that we are concerned that we'd like to have some of those meetings to take place, and get some of that information back, so we're.
To see some additional
so we're
support
not
from
just
the
thinking
other
we're out
cities.
here on the Lone Ranger on this project.
Absolutely, yeah. The city of Sioux City's only representative at those meetings is Matt Salvatore, the Parks and Recs director, and he's been over the top excited for each phase of this project to get talked about and move forward, and I know he's chomping at the bit. I think he actually had the CIP funds move forward a year or two for Sioux City to start a portion on the north end of Sioux City there, so I know he in particular is excited to see this trail happen.
Thank you.
Brett, I got a question. I realize that funding is from the PlyWood Trail Foundation, and they're continually working on that, aren't they?
Yes, every meeting they're discussing new opportunities for funding, where they can get additional donations from, and how we can continue to apply for and have some success with these different grant applications that we're submitting. The thought process has been continuously that getting a phase or two constructed and moving into phase 2 and phase 3, that the grant application process is looked at much more favorably when you have some trail on the ground already. So we've got some pretty high hopes for the future phases receiving either state rec trail funding or fed rec trail funding to keep things moving.
Yeah, I think with each application that's submitted and then, in essence, so far denied or rejected, I think they, over the years, because it's been years now since those applications have been put in, each time they learn a little bit more of how we can tweak this, and the scores keep getting better each time. So hopefully, eventually, there should be a good answer from grant application, but we'll see. Yeah, we got one coming up in July too, again, so.
Any other questions for Brett, or anything on the topic of the program?
I've got one quick question. Is this the DOT right away? Is that where the trail will be at? Or
Some of it is.
some?
Motion to establish June 15th, 2021 at 12 p.m. for a public hearing on plan specifications, forms, contract estimates, costs for the PlyWood Trail Phase 1A project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to establish a June 15, 2021 at 12 p.m. for a public hearing on plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the PlyWood Phase 1A project. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Brett, for
Thank you all.
attendance. And I learned one thing a long time ago. Anything good comes hard.
Can I interrupt here too? We might have to do some checking, whether or not that ordinance, that parking ordinance needs to be 4-1, or if 3-2 is okay.
No, you check, and if it needs to be 4-1, then we'll go back to 1 on the next meeting.
We have another reading of it yet.
Well, I'm saying if 3-2 wasn't enough to approve,
It's not enough to waive readings. It passes, but we have a third reading.
If it doesn't, we go back to 1, so you guys.
Yeah, I looked it up on the league site, it looks like it just a simple majority passes.
oh, okay. Disregard everything I just said.
It's all right. There's some of those rules. Super majority.
We tried, I hit the follow. Jason, does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to number 3, our city attorney contract. The current contract with the city attorney expires on June 30th, 2021. Revisions have been discussed and negotiated with Michael P. Murphy of Murphy, Collins, and McGill, PLC, to continue to perform legal services. Attached is a revised contract for the review. And before we pass, I just want to share one thing. Our county attorney's done a tremendous job. He's kept me out of jail for the last 3 years.
County attorney.
Our city attorney done that.
Both of them.
You buy him out of town?
You're not, but he's done a good job, so just had to throw that in. I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve a 3-year contract with Michael P. Murphy of Murphy, Collins, and McGill, PLC, to perform legal services.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion made and second to approve a 3-year contract with the Michael P. Murphy and Murphy, Collins, and McGill, PLC, to perform legal services. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Moving on to discussion. City administrator.
What would I have? EPA cleanup next door is complete. The cleanup is complete. They will be back to do asphalt and replace some of that concrete. No date for that yet, because they have to bid it. They haven't bid it out yet. So no date. That's what's left though. Cleveland Park restroom, that project did start last week. Their anticipated, well, their contracted completion date is the end of June. That should not be an issue. Then it's a matter of coordination. The other project there is the parking lot. And that is looking like it will be an August project. Which is still fine because that had a September something completion. But it's more important that the restroom gets done before Specialized comes in and does some of that concrete. Dog park, concrete is complete and the water features are complete, so the drinking fountains are there, the water, fire hydrants are there. Fencing is staked, so that's the next step. I don't have a date for when they're coming in, but that's the next step in the process. I will announce here that this Friday is the headliner announcement for RAGBRAI. So I don't know if any of you guys got that invitation or saw that advertised out there. Just kind of a little party to let everybody know who the major band is going to be for that Saturday. But that announcement takes place this Friday from 6 to 11 at Iowa Barbecue and Uptown Event Center there. Music, food, beer, t-shirts for Rag Rag. And then the last thing I wanted to let everybody know, we've been, the old bank site over there, we've owned for a number of years now. The area that the chamber is in. 2 other spaces back there. We've been advertising for the smaller space for some time now. Hasn't been filled. Starting July 1, the other space is gonna be empty. So I guess I'm just announcing here. All we've done for advertisement, really, I think is just post on those doors, maybe on our website. But to hear, just to publicly know that there are 2 spaces over there that somebody could use for office space if they wanted to. And that's just a matter of calling City Hall. Somebody can take you over there and show you. So, that was all I have. Questions?
Any questions for
Well,
Jason?
just to comment on the office spaces, this last year is hardly a good gauge for people wanting to find a new office space, so we be patient with it, we'll be fine.
Yeah, we've
They're
had,
nice offices.
it hasn't gone, we've gotten a few calls, a few people have looked at it.
Sure.
Just no takers
Yeah,
yet.
right,
But you're right, Clark, after what people's been through, you.
right.
So it's
So
time.
I think if we're patient, we'll be
Has
fine.
the chamber had any interest in
Oh, sure.
using some of that space so that the conference room would
I
be
did,
enlarged?
I did bring that up to Neil last Friday, maybe last Thursday, last Friday. That was a thought that they had back when, prior to the city owning it. So when Al Mazer owned that building, it was a discussion Neil had with Al at that time. But it didn't happen. And I don't know, I can talk with them. I don't know if they need it or if they want it anymore, but it's a matter of moving a wall.
We'll bring it up.
And I don't remember what's directly on the other side of that wall. How that affects, there might be an old window in there, the old teller window still might be in there. I think it's covered up, but I think the window might still be in there.
Any other questions for Jason? We'll move on to our great finance director, and having some money.
Okay, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about, so the state legislative session, they've been talking for quite a few years now about eliminating the backfill, which, when they rolled back commercial property taxes in 2014, 2015 timeframe, the state decided they were gonna backfill that for cities so that it was still like 100% basically. But ever since then, they have talked about they were gonna do away with that backfill. They finally took action on it to do away with the backfill. So for Lamar's, it's gonna be over 8 years. So for this next budget year, they left it in because cities already had it budgeted. So we're gonna get $250 this next budget year, so for 22, and then it's gonna slowly be phased out through 2030. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that.
Any idea what kind of dollar amount we're talking?
Well, so like I said, it was 250 is what we're getting now, so right around in that range.
So if you divide it by 8, you could probably reduce
Right.
down an 8
Around-
each year.
I got specific amounts it has per year, as estimates. So from, in 23, it'll go down to 222, 188 next year.
Right,
So it just
right.
kind of progressively goes down. That's all I have.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, moving on to council. Mike, do you have anything for discussion?
Not today, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Clark?
Yeah, I got a couple things that I'd kind of like to discuss. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm pretty straight, no filters, so what I say I mean. and I don't really come at it with any self-interest or whatever you want to say. I want us to revisit mayor salaries and council salaries. I think it should be a step. I think after 2 terms of mayor, or 4 years in city government, the mayor steps back up. Everybody up here says what a great job Dick has done. He stepped in when we needed him. He put in extra hours, that's why we bumped him up. I don't think anybody new coming on should get that, however, I think they should grow into that. Same with city council. After 4 years, there's a learning curve. And after 4 years, I think there should be a step up. I don't want anybody to think that this is some kind of an announcement that I'm running or not running. I haven't yet decided, and I'm going to decide fairly soon, but I think it really needs to be thought about. Because we got a letter today, I got an email today from a citizen who had some comments. I don't really agree with most of them, but one comment that really kind of ticked me off was how it was implied that the city seems to make pop decisions, quick decisions. Last Friday, Jason, myself, Jacob, and Rich Sattel spent 8 hours going over to Fort Dodge to view a water department, a facility that we're looking at. Why? Because we have to. Anybody that sits up here, whether it's finance, safety, utilities, spends quite a bit of time, research, energy, and effort. And anybody that stands out there and says, you're only paid for what you're doing right here, has lost touch with reality. I take this really serious, and I try to gain all the information I can on all the subjects that we're being presented with, including the ones on the table right now. So I think experience is valuable. I personally, if I decide to run, I don't care if I compete. That means the taxpayers decided there was somebody better out there. But I'm going to tell you what, you don't come into these jobs and these committees just blind and think you're going to start making decisions. I've had multiple calls from citizens asking me about city council, and I'm more than willing to share. But I'd say that on 70% of them, I said, you need to understand something before you take this stance that you're calling me on. And by the end of the conversation, most of them said, well, I didn't realize that. There's a lot you don't realize. But that's just my take. I think we should revisit salaries of the mayor and the council. We haven't done it for, what, 20 years? Rex?
Pretty close.
I mean, it's been a long time. Other governing bodies get a raise once a year. Give themselves a raise, which is fine. I don't begrudge it. But there is a value here. But no one out there should think that it's a moneymaker, because it's not. And so, it's not a moneymaker. So that's my comment.
You guys, do you want to bring it back?
Yep.
The step or the,
Well,
what I wrote down, Clark, is so far is maybe mayor after 2 terms
Mhm.
and council after 1 term.
Yeah, or if a council person jumped in after 40, as long as they've got some set of city government and how it works and what the responsibilities are. I think people are fooling themselves if they think, oh, I'm just gonna go get elected and sit up there and divvy money out or do whatever. We saw it today. This isn't a rubber stamp deal where everybody agrees, but that's good. But it also takes time, energy, and effort, phone calls and visits. And I went out on, in the last 2 weeks, I probably went out on 3 or 4 calls of complaints, mainly dealing with sidewalks and trees. But you go out and you look and you visit with you and call them back, you get back to them. So there's a value, and I'm going to stand on it. So that's my 2 cents, sir.
Good point. Anything else?
Nope.
Rex?
I like seeing the sun outside. I think the sun makes people happier. That doesn't mean we're happy. We could just be happier. And I think there's, I said it the last council meeting on the way out, I said, if somebody thinks they can walk in the water or suspended solids or biosolids and think you're gonna figure that out in the first meeting, good luck with that. And we gotta make the right choices. I mean, it's a big deal here. And people don't think it's a big deal, sorry. I'll sit down and explain it to you too, but no, I've said it, I know Dick said it, I'm not gonna be here in 6-7 months, but that doesn't mean I can't help somebody if they got questions, but I'm not gonna help every day of every week. And that's what it's been. So, that's my addendum to Clark's comments.
Jim?
I agree with Clark, and would like to see that brought forward also. And other than that, I don't have anything else.
Steve?
Nothing for me today.
I'd just like to say that we have a nice city here. And just from the experience over the last 12 years I've been here, we've had some very, very excellent council people to work with to make the city where we're at. And I'm dead serious about that. The other thing I respect about our council people in this town is the fact that they're not all yes people. They voice their opinions, it's on a business-like basis, but when they go through that door and the meeting's over with, they're still friends. And we're all one city. And we're all one city, it's teamwork, and it's what makes it go.
You know, I still stop for those stop signs that I didn't vote for.
Yeah, he's still, Rex is still on the stop sign program. I just wanna say that at 12 o'clock, December 31st, I'm gone at midnight. But I am gonna finish out my term, and I have been very, very proud of this city, and not only our council members, but really truly our people that work for us, for this city, the administration, do a tremendous job. But anyway, we appreciate everything that everybody's doing, and we appreciate the comments, Clark, and your thoughts on it.
Motion to adjourn.
No,
No.
I was gonna too. No, just a minute, don't get excited.